on his head, in the firewall, this was the dash, that's the motor.
Yes.
And the wires came, with the ends cut off. The instructions was use your original plug. Well, this plug, was tighter fitting on the Bakelite than it was on the connection up inside there. It was only a little tiny piece. And this is out of the car, because out of the truck, they cut it out, because they had arcing problems where things weren't working. So they got in there and they cut it all out and made an awful mess, cut the firewall and everything, and soldered the wires together. So I didn't put this in. I put, what do you call it? Heat shrink on all the wires, and then I pushed it together, or like I soldered each and every wire all the way around, and then I put my heat shrink on everything, took my lighter, the heat shrink wouldn't work. I grabbed the wrong hose in the garage. I had rubber hoses mixed with heat shrink, and anyway, I ended up taping it, and then I put a pipe on it, and the little gizmo, but it's problem solved, because these, I think, caused a lot of problems, because the pins held tighter in the Bakelite than they did in the metal connection. And a little tiny bit of condensation that was no good. Anyway, that is what originally it had, but I didn't put it in.
Interesting.
Jim, you want the floor put in that car, didn't you?
No big rush unless you want to do it, but
I'm probably gonna do it for you. I wanna paint an air station for John Wilson, and sometime between then, when you bring your car over, I'll put a floor in it for you.
okay. And I'm not interested in the original
That's good,
lines
because you wasn't getting
that, like anything, like no stress, because I personally am not putting it on the road.
Yeah, well,
I want it to tear up my lawn.
I told you that's what he was gonna do. He's gonna yard
I want to kind of plow a little bit of a semi-racetrack around my property, and then just drive the car like I'm a 15-year-old hillbilly and just spin it and have fun.
I'm gonna have a car to go over too.
You're an animal.
Like, I'm not gonna do that with
Yeah.
the Ferrari,
Yeah.
but
On a bad night, you could.
well, see, I used to drive dirt bikes, and I stopped driving dirt bikes because it was too dangerous, so I went in high-speed street bike driving, and that was a lot safer. But the only difference between high-speed street bike driving and dirt biking is it's the same thing, exactly. The only difference is there's more traffic, a little better visibility, because in the trail, the corners are a little bit more hidden, but add 100 miles an hour. That's all you have to do. Dirt biking is 30 to 60 miles an hour, and that's basically in rough trails really burning it, but just add 100 miles an hour to it and you're on the street.
Yeah, so I'll put that
But
forward
anyway,
for
it
you.
was more exciting and more safer. But then after a while, I kind of slowed down when I started drinking too much, and then I kind of got out of the groove, and now I just drive 40, 50 miles an hour everywhere I go.
Good enough, but like I said, I'm gonna do a couple. I got Bernie. I want to do Bernie's hood. I want to.
But now that I got a little money in the bank.
I'm not asking for no money.
Oh,
No,
so
I'm just gonna do it for you.
oh my God.
Why not?
Well, that's entertaining.
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna pull it over and I'll do it for you. It won't take me long.
I know how long it would take me.
Well, I'm gonna.
I have to build a bracket right now to hold my blinker that I fabricated. I had to build a bracket from the bumper bolt out, and it has to be off-centered to drill 2 holes. And I look in my junk pile looking for a bracket with the holes lined up right in the right place, instead of just grabbing metal and bending it and drilling the hole. I'll go to the junk pile and spend 2 hours looking in junk to see if I can find a piece of metal already that size. Like that's,
That'll spend 5 minutes.
I complicate it.
Piece of metal.
Yeah.
No, we'll just put a floor in it. So I'll just do it like I do it. Cross member it. Put a floor in it, and you can do whatever you want with it after.
Now, the original cab mounts, like in the frame, like the sideways ones that are actually spot welded
Yeah.
originally to the floor, that bolt the floor to the frame.
Yeah.
They're all there, but I
I
don't
could
know, they're kind of spotted a little bit holes, but they're all there, but I don't know if it would be important or just rip them out and put your own in.
Well,
No, being
all I
just-
plan to do is run square tubing across the floor.
Yeah, like maybe
Flat
those
floor.
original, you know, how they are complicated looking, and you had to form the floor to it. If you just took them out and threw them away and build your own, you could do it a lot faster. And now the authenticness is totally gone when you do that. But this car,
The only
it's from
person
Nova
now
Scotia. It's not from
You
Arizona.
ran over.
You know, it's from Nova Scotia. It's pitted. Like, there's no way it would ever really be feasible to restore. You know,
No.
it's more of a track car or rat, you know, rough kind of. You know, like there's a lot better cars if a person
Well, I just wanted to let you know that you're on my list.
Oh, wow.
You're on my list. I got,
Well, that kind of inspires me to get put the windshield in and do the motor.
leave the window out
Oh, yes.
just because I don't want to put sparks on it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and
You know what I mean?
expensive windshield.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
supply the 1/4 inch plywood for the floor.
I can put plywood in it. I've done many more.
Yeah.
Just look
Well,
at it.
Model Ts had wooden firewalls.
I know they
And their gas, and then the Model A's had their windshield was up here, or the
Gas
gas
tank.
gauge was on the dash and had actual gasoline in the gauge going up and down, and that's where the gas tank was, right up on the cowl.
They probably learned
You
after
know.
a while. Huh? I wonder how many people got burned up in them things.
Actually, I think more people got burned up in today's, like in the 70s, like Pintos and stuff like that,
I didn't say
accidents. You know, because they had a bad head.
Yeah, guys, most recently. 3 out of 5 Hyundais catch fire, I understand.
Well, I guess according to some of the things I've looked in on the internet, those Ferraris that I had of catching on fire.
I just seen one of those on the internet on old Barrett Jackson. You got yourself a prize.
Like,
I think that car went for 60,000, 70,000.
yeah, but see, if it was properly owned and
Oh, you
always
weren't telling that,
serviced,
though.
like, I mean, well, if it was owned, say, by somebody that had money and really cared and didn't get any abuse.
You mean if it wasn't smashed and you fixed it up?
No, right, yeah, like no abuse, and always went to the dealer for all its tune-ups, which would, you know what I mean? Then it would have paperwork proving everything, well, that's worth quite a bit.
A Hudson went across, sold at 47,000. Truck like yours,
Yeah.
the one you just sold, Doug.
Oh, by the way, don't send the front bumper away to be rechromed.
No.
It's, it was in really, really bad shape. I had to weld in rust holes.
That doesn't matter to the
And it was-
chromers.
Yeah, but they like good cores. When you send a bumper away to be re-chromed, they like it in fairly good shape. It's sort of like,
Oh, they don't want to do no work.
it's like sending your hat to the cleaners. Better hat you send, better hat you get back. But anyway, that bumper has like body fill on it to make it look good.
Yeah.
Like if it was scraped down in metal, it's in pretty rough shape. The back one could be re-chromed.
How
But
about the headlight surrounds?
though they're monkey metal.
Yeah, yeah, white metal,
Yeah,
yeah.
They call that monkey metal.
yeah.
How bad were they?
No, they're exactly the same as they are.
They could be re-chromed.
What do you mean?
You painted them.
I did not sand them. I didn't sand them or anything. I just grabbed a spray bomb and just sprayed it. It'll come right off like,
And it would look like chrome?
well, yeah, but it's pitted.
Yeah.
It's got little, like,
Yeah.
it's not, I did not grind or sand off the chrome. Like, if you take the paint off, yes, it's chrome, but it's a little bit, you know, it's pitted.
Paint
Not,
shop will do that.
it's not big pits, just small pits. You know, it's still chrome, you know,
So that could be re-chrome.
yeah, yeah, it's not, now, I did have another set, but they were pitted quite bad.
Where did you send that? Did you take them to Halifax?
No, there's a place in London, in Ontario, trying to think of the name of it now, Cambridge, Ontario, I think it is.
Cambridge Chrome.
Yeah, they're good. And fairly reasonable.
He wants
as
to
far as chrome.
weld the floor in my car.
Yeah. I got a job. I'm gonna go back to work soon and I wanna I wanna do a couple favors for a couple people, and you're one of them.
Oh, my lord.
I wanna help
You're
you.
right up there, buddy.
Well, I'll tell you, it needs the floor right from the bottom of the dash right to the bumper.
Don't give a shit.
But I don't care about the original floor mounts.
As long as
You
when I'm
know,
done, you don't complain.
Like, oh no, I won't complain.
Okay, good.
As long as the doors still fit. Actually, if the doors don't fit, what you do is you just grind the edge off and then re-weld it.
Yeah, you can
You
do
know,
it.
like-
I've done that before. but-
Yeah, well, on a Firebird, I built a Firebird way back when I was a teenager with, in a 70 Firebird. I put wide flares on it all the way around.
Yeah.
And I welded up like, 3,000 hours of steel welding. It brought-
3,000 hours.
Yeah, I welded for like 3 years. Anyway, I welded these flares and a spoiler, and it looked pretty cool with 50 series tires all the way around. And anyway, I warped the body so bad when I welded that the door, I had to cut 1/2 inch off both doors and re-weld the seam to get them to close in. And I also warped it so bad on the front
That's from
fenders
heat.
that I had to put I had to put Volkswagen jacks, like 3 of them with bars between the fenders, halfway down the hood, and jack and heat the top of the fender to bulge it up to get it so that it would take the curl out of the fender so the hood would close.
Are you serious? You must put the heat to it, didn't you?
Oh, well, that's what happens when you use a torch. And no water, and no blowgun, and no stopping for welding either. When I welded, I'd weld like 4 inches, then I'd go over here, weld 4 inches, and then down here, 4 inches. But when I was done,
I
things
couldn't
would
imagine.
all to hell, and then I'd
Start
heat
heating
in
it back
certain
and forth?
spots, and I'd jack
Yeah.
and pull the tensions out. Now, I learned a lot over the years, like,
You would have to learn from doing that.
but honestly, like that Ferrari, the Hudson had good welds. I had really good luck on the Hudson when I welded. Wherever I welded, everything just fell into place for me. But on that Ferrari, some of the worst welds I ever did in my life were on that car.
See this here?
I don't know how to MIG weld, I had to stick weld. The metal wasn't thick enough, where the stick weld doesn't work good if the metal's a little bit too thin. It arcs and keeps sticking, and then I had to use torch. Anyway, I got it all welded up, but the grinder is the only reason why it looked good, because
See how the door shut on this thing here? See how the door's right hard up on that? That's how the door was on it. That's how it fit.
too close.
You know, yeah, it's too close. But instead of cutting the edge of the door, I cut the quarter panel and just tap that back.
Oh,
And then when I put the fill on it, it's on the quarter panel, not the door.
not only that, but here you have a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
There you have a
Edge.
seam like this,
Yeah.
which you're interfering, so you're
So
kind of
I-
welding 3 edges
yeah,
here. When
yes.
here you're only welding 1.
I cut this and just tap that back. You can see it on the other side how I did it. I cut the whole thing.
Oh,
This is the way the car fit it when I got it.
Yeah,
So that's
that's
the way
how
it
the
is.
Oldsmobile's a little too tight too,
Yeah.
like that.
So I cut this part
Yeah.
and just tapped this side back and left the door edge alone.
Yeah. Like I cut the door off, but then
Mhm, I know what you're saying.
the door skin wraps around like this, and it makes it so that you're really welding a lot of metal
Yeah, you're welcome
put
to
it,
it. And if you
you know,
don't, yeah, that's what I say.
back in, like 3 layers. When you do the quarter panel, you just do the 1 layer.
Yes. And that's the way I did it, and that's the way I'm gonna have to do that one, is to get that gap right. I'm gonna take a shortcut and feed it back, and I'll do a little bit at a time. I'll do that far and feed it back, and weld that little bit up, and then I'll cut it and do it again. That's the way I'll do that.
You know, I'm sort of a Studebaker person, but this is actually one of my more favorite cars.
It's a cute car, isn't it?
Yeah, I like this.
It's got a bubble look
And
to it.
what I really like it is, even though it's not exactly your style in most of your performances, it's old school.
Yeah.
It's like the 70s, 60s, 70s,
Yeah.
that's the look,
Mhm.
and that's old school. And it's kind of ironic that you even have it stay this way. Like I was expecting it to be seriously
Customized.
altered,
Well,
but
I wanted to keep it that way. I like that style of car, but
Yeah.
I like going
well,
into it because
you had your fill up to date with mods, and this one you kind of kept this style to offset it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you can't sing all country and western all the time. Once in a while you have to go to rock or bluegrass or blues just to give your personality more flexibility.
see my Oldsmobile in it.
Oh.
305.
Mhm.
But I got it dressed up like a nosebleed. See how the cover's on it? It's a 305, dressed up like a nosebleed.
Yep,
Yeah.
I like the way the bike, the.
That's the
bars
only
look
reason I
there.
did it, because I like the way that happens.
Yeah,
It looks
I
nice.
like that.
And I picked up the 4-speed, the engine for $400. Good deal, eh?
It's amazing you even found one, let alone.
It's not a nosebleed engine, it's a 305.
Yeah, but like transmissions, like 4-speeds aren't really that easy to come by.
They're not, are they?
No.
He sold me that for
Like
$100.
a lot of them were bought, everything, like same as if you were trying to look for a 340 Dodge. There's lots around, but the same people own them and they're not for sale.
You got that right. They're hard to get. Anything a standard or a different size engine that you want, hard to get, hard to find. Hard to find.
We were in a friend of yours yesterday, George and Louise, is it? He has the other Hudson truck.
Oh, Angela,
Angela, is it?
that's his wife,
Okay.
George Bruce.
Yeah, we didn't see George's signs, but
Oh.
she was very gracious and showed us all around the place.
Oh, you were way down in Tupperville?
Yeah, she was talking, said you'd been down there many a time, every time you brought the old truck down, it was a different color and.
Oh, that was Studebaker.
Studebaker,
Yeah.
The Hudson he's got is so jammed in that barn,
Oh,
you'll have to be skinny to get in the door.
Yeah, I
The
know.
barn door.
Is the truck any good?
yeah, his truck,
It's not wonderful.
no, his truck was in, his truck was in the same condition mine was when it was put in the swamp in Ontario. But his went in a building.
Instead of the swamp.
But not-
Like 1960, it was kind of a wreck, and it was put in a building, when mine was put in a swamp. And then somebody came along, pulled it out and wrecked it. And then I straightened it all out, when his truck's half decent. But it
It's
needs,
been put in there, it looks like it's been there eons and hasn't had a thing done to it.
he spotted a lot of parts for it, but no, he's
collecting.
well, he's busy, whatever he's working on, and he does a lot of stuff, but I don't know if he'll ever do the Hudson, because he needs a much bigger garage. And he's got his garage full of like little jobs, and the Hudson requires a big area. Like my barn was solid full of Hudson parts hanging from the ceiling and the tables when I painted. And when I painted it that time, I painted it, it took me 10 hours to paint it. Took me almost 2 gallons of paint, and I painted every panel inside and out, all at one time. And by the time I was done, the storm came and the wind was blowing like 100 miles an hour, and I was hoping the power wasn't gonna go out. And my arm was so tired, I couldn't hold the gun up any longer.
You're probably
And I
like
had
Jolene.
and I was painting at nighttime in my barn with poor lights, with a trouble light holding the hose and sticking up here, hold my arm up while I was spraying. And I put 3 coats on it, but I painted every panel inside and out, all at the same time. And then a few days later, I bolted the whole truck together, and then I painted the front half.
Quite a job done on that then.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
Quite a job done on that truck, really.
Yeah, George's truck is a starting place, it needs a complete restoration.
oh, yes,
Now,
total.
What they've done though, is they've got a Model A, coupe, or I guess truck that was turned into a snow vehicle.
Yeah, I painted that,
They-
a Model
you did.
T.
You did?
Actually, it came that way, that's how it was made.
With the tracks on the back?
Yeah, it was a Model T snowmobile.
Okay, I thought it was an A.
Yeah,
T.
that they made
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
That one was,
It's a nice
the
shape.
electrical people or power company, yeah,
Okay, they go around and fix power poles and
yeah,
stuff.
in the wintertime.
They had that to town last winter.
Yeah, I painted that.
Well, you did a nice job.
And I did it in the summer, I did the body job. He had somebody sandblasted it, and then had that epoxy primer put on it. But the guy never washed off the panels. He primed
I want a beer,
it.
Sarah. You want a beer?
He primed it with the
There's one
epoxy
over there,
primer,
I
but
think.
after he sandblasted it, and he never washed or sanded, and all the primer all peeled off, because
You have to
like,
heat up the
oh,
microwave.
when you
You have to heat up the
sandblast,
microwave.
When you sandblast, you have to wipe that film off, or wash it, or sand it, like you can't prime on that.
You want me to heat them up? You want to heat that up?
Oh,
I'll heat them up.
oh, yes.
Whoa! Want to heat that coffee up for you?
Tell you what else he's got, he's got a nice.
Oh, he's got barns full of stuff.
Yeah, I know, but a lot of it is, needs a lot of work. He's got a nice half-ton truck in there, it's a maroon one. Did you paint that one too?
No, I only did the Model T for him.
I'm trying to think of what year it would be.
Oh, Model A truck.
The red one, maroon.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a real sharp truck.
yeah, he actually had that done by the time I first met him. He had that.
So tall, I can't fit him in the microwave.
Oh, really?
It's,
Most of what he has.
I think it's a 29.
Okay. It's a sharp looking vehicle.
It has a painted grill cover, or radiator cover. It didn't come in the original.
I don't remember that. You can only get in around
I know,
a certain
yeah.
part of it. It's chock-a-block. He's building a shingle mill there right now. They're gonna make pine shingles.
Well, mine or yours?
Yeah, he's quite a multitasker.
Yes.
He does a lot of different things.
Yeah,
It's too bad that he hurt his back,
yeah.
because that's really crippled.
I never met him, but his wife was certainly a gracious lady.
Yeah.
Very great. Spent all kinds of time with us, took us all around the different buildings, and couldn't have been nicer.
Did you want a beer, Sid?
No, thanks, no, that was good.
See what Doug did this? Oh, he bought us a beer.
Oh. I bought a case, a 6-pack of those 0.5 or 0.05 at the grocery store last July when it was so hot, and I had one. And a friend of mine dropped in last week. Oh, I'm gonna grab one of those beer you said you had in the fridge. Anyway, oh, grab me one too. Anyway, and he drinks alcohol, right? Anyway, he got 2 out of the fridge. Oh my lord, these are 0.05 or something like that.
He didn't want none.
No, he opened it anyway. 3/4 of the way through, he said, you know, this actually doesn't taste that bad.
I actually drank it for quite a while because I like the taste of.
Yeah, I like the taste of beer, but I drink beer. I'm just like 14-year-old. I'm totally trashed, and then I'm outside laying down with the world spinning for about 4 hours while I regain my gravity and come back to life.
That comes with
You gotta stop after 2, Jim.
Well, no, one. I drink one and I'm done. Yeah, I drink one shot of hard stuff or something, and I am just like I drank a 40 ouncer. Like I'm totally allergic to it.
I got a little bit out of the other one.
Right. But see, I was never actually an alcoholic, but I did quit. I did stop drinking like 20-some years ago.
Just a little bit extra, didn't you?
No, I haven't seen George for a little while. I haven't been down that way for like a year.
No, he was away somewhere, but, well, she was a very gracious lady.
When I talk, most of the time when I'm around her, she really doesn't know what to make of me, because she'll start talking like in normal family, domestic kind of ways, and I continue talking in hyper on mechanical stuff, and she doesn't really know quite what to like. It's kind of like, Jim, there's absolutely
Sugars and milk right there.
no hope for you whatsoever.
If you want sugar and milk in that
Oh.
bag, there should be milk and sugar in that bag.
Okay.
Yours is coming, Jim.
Thank you.
Sugar?
Lindsay's coming, I guess.
Thank
You
you.
guys will get to meet Lindsay.
Is that the only milk? He wants to weld it.
Have you ever met Lindsay?
Isn't that nice?
Have you ever met Lindsay?
Oh, one's good.
Lindsay Campbell, you ever met him?
Not that I know of, but
Okay,
maybe.
Lindsay
I
Campbell.
sometimes forget names.
He's into hot rods, cars. He's got a
Okay.
36 Ford
Yeah.
and a 38 Ford 2-door. And a couple 40 Fords trucks. He's got an Indian motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. Like Ford's in.
No, geez, he likes the original stuff. I think he wants some parts from the 36-4 that we had over here. I think he wants the original steering column, and he wants and a gas tank, and he wants just certain things. I hope he's coming with some trade materials, but I hope he's coming with.
Yeah, your bag of money.
That will do. That will do, Doug. If it comes with a bag of money, that will do great. I just hope to trade with him, actually. Do some trading.
Yeah.
There's a gas tank up there. He likes all the original stuff, you know what I mean? He's even right down like Jim, trying to rebuild that steering column. I get a steering box. He's trying to rebuild the steering box for this 3640. He wants it all 30, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's,
Well, if you're a purist, that's what you do.
well, that's what he's going for. He likes.
My viewpoints, I used to be into the antique, you know, the nostalgic, like original, restore, mint. But as I got older, and after I finished like the Hudson, that's kind of it. Like the Ferrari, I wanted that kind of original, but the Studebaker, when I put the motor back together, I'm gonna scrape all the paint off it, right down to bare metal, and let her have surface rust, and that's how I wanna keep it. Just,
Right.
yeah, well, I like the chug, I don't need power, so I like the original drivetrain, kind of original.
There's
But
nothing better than an old car on a dirt road.
yeah,
I love driving an old car on
oh,
a
yes,
dirt road.
sir. And they even handle, if you have tight suspension, they even handle potholes.
That's what I find
they
the
just-
best on. It's an old dirt road,
Yeah.
man.
Now that red Cobalt with those skinny tires I have on it,
Yeah.
you can't drive out of first gear on dirt road.
No?
Yeah, that's not a dirt road car.
Yeah, 18-inch.
Your 46 Hudson truck is a dirt road car.
Yeah.
That's a dirt road
Oh,
car.
that Hudson's never been driven on a dirt road or marine.
There's see, baby, you want to sit down in the
Because I
seat,
didn't
babe?
want to get dirty, because underneath cars, when they're painted, and you have them all restored, if you let them get dirty, that's almost the end of the paint job. Because when you wash them, you have to be so careful, because you scratch it, and then you scratch it, wash it a few times, and there's basically no paint job left underneath. Unless you have some kind of armor paint.
Well, I've done a lot of cars underneath, and it's hard to justify.
Road dirt.
It's
and
hard to
washing
justify
them.
to drive it on the road and get it dirty. It's hard to justify why you're spending that much money to.
Yeah.
to
Because
get
when
it.
you clean it,
Yeah.
you're gonna get you're gonna scratch it.
Yeah, like it's,
Same as when you wash a good car, you don't wash your rag from the bottom of the car to the top. You do the top and then you do around the bottom, like you don't,
we do the bottom first here.
you know, like you get like dirt on the side of the car and you're there scrubbing and washing and your soapy rag goes down here and swoops some of that dirt and then you go up on the hood and go like this, you're gonna end up scratches all over your hood.
Generally, yes. It's not a good
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Coffee for you there, Jim. I don't know what you put in it, but.
You missed the old truck?
No.
No.
I didn't drive it last year, and I did
you see
plan
that?
on driving it this
He
year.
wanted all the
so-
milk out of that, so he dipped it back in, switched the coffee around, and dumped her back in.
Yeah.
When
I have that habit from the milk jugs at home because I crinkled them up. When I pour the milk out, then I'll take the kettle and pour a little hot water in it, and
That'll
it
give
goes
you
in my
another cup of
coffee,
coffee.
and then that warms up the carton so you can squish it into a square, and then I throw it in my kindling box for helping my fires to start. But it helps, it makes it squish easier.
Right.
And if you don't happen to burn it for a year, it doesn't stink. No, and I save all the milk cartons, I burn paper.
Listen, no milk carton can stink, can it not?
Yeah.
Well, this is the best day I've had in a couple days.
You,
Sitting down relaxing. What do you mean? You put me back to work, I suppose.
no, I'm,
Just admiring the job?
yes, I was very concerned when, you were gonna take the paint off on the top. When it was professionally painted on the bottom, I was kind of concerned with how that paint was going to behave.
Me too.
Because sometimes, like when you strip things down, they don't feather good, and going into that good paint job on the bottom, you only have that much room to make your perfection.
Yes.
And sometimes that you know, like sometimes the feathering doesn't work well and you're only had that much to go when you're into a new paint job area.
Well, right now, as I got the tape peeled off, and you can see as I got the tape peeled off and you see the paint, I have a little ledge where the primer's at now. So now I'm gonna have to put some new tape on there, and we'll just take the 400, take the ledge off the primer, and then we'll tape it up, and we'll go from there. But it's going good, no paint pulled off,
Yep.
everything's staying beautiful. Nothing.
So the black paint was checked, was it?
It just seemed to be blistering off. Let's see, what happened?
Oh,
I think it was a lacquer primer.
so the paint actually behaved itself, it was just the surface was breaking up.
I think the underneath was just all breaking up, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It just
you can
broke
feel
down.
it.
Because some old paint jobs, they crack.
It didn't have
that,
enough product on it. to
you know,
check.
like skin look, you
Yeah.
know, the little lines, and then you have to take that off, you know, because it's like cracks.
It was a fast job and what the hell.
I think they might have not, they didn't prep.
Yeah.
It's hard to say for sure.
1983 when that was done, that's a long time ago.
They stripped it down though, they put lacquer primer on it.
Well, it's kind of amazing really that it broke down, because paint back in the 80s was good. You know, it's like.
I just don't know if they had enough on, you know what I mean? I'm not sure. It's hard to say. I could guess, but I'm guessing that the crack of the metal wasn't sanded, you know what I'm saying? You get stripping down with a liquid stripper and then you try to prime over top with it, sanding the metal, you're asking for, you know, you gotta sand the metal.
Dana said the filler that was underneath had never hardened.
Jeez,
He could put his fingernail in and peel it up. He thought that either they hadn't put enough curing agent in
The Hudson, I put according to the book on the hardener, I used urethane. And when I sanded it to paint the cab again, like 2 years later, because it sunk in, because I finished my body work at the wrong time of year, like winter time.
Yeah.
The primer, I used lacquer primer with reducer, which takes a week for it to dry in the sunlight, and I didn't have any sunlight, it was too cold, and the paint didn't dry. And I painted it, and then 2 years later, it all sunk in, so I painted it again. But again, my body work and my sanding and my priming was getting into the winter again, so I painted the truck at 5 below zero, same as my primer, and the truck should have had another coat of primer, 6 months of sunlight in Arizona weather, and it didn't. I mixed up my urethane and I painted it, and 2 years later, that's why you see the skin scratches, because it dried after. And it just sunk right in, and the paint job kind of sunk in.
It's a perfect candidate for a quick paint job.
Yeah, it's,
You know what I
as
mean?
long as you don't break through.
Yeah, just
then
sand
you-
it off and
yeah.
throw a paint job on it.
But that's what happened, was I did my priming and painting in the wintertime, and things didn't dry good. And I didn't use the hardener type of primer, I used lacquer primer. And lacquer primer needs to go on thin, it needs quite a while to dry. And if you don't rush, like, and I rushed it, like I primed and I sanded and I primed, and then, oh, tired of this. So I poured the black paint in the gun and I start spraying. And it looked beautiful. But 6 months later, outdoors, it all sunk in and didn't look.
Well, now it's got its base, now you can slide over with a piece of sandpaper and put a nice coat of paint on it. You could, I mean, that's where it's at.
The only problem is you should, if you're gonna paint it again, you would have to take the chrome from the door handles to the front off, because the rust kind of there, and sandblast it, because I cleaned that up right down as good as I did everything else on the truck, but it all came back. But the rest of the truck it didn't, but up there it did. But
It is what it is.
it's a little tricky to put the chrome on. You gotta be a little bit, well, it's always tricky to put chrome on.
Yeah.
You know, the original chrome, it's always tricky. Yeah,
Like it was just tricky taking the tape off of the chrome on that.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
but I'm glad we did it.
Yeah, didn't we have fun taking the door handles off?
You did that in quick manner, Doug. I was quite impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you to take the door handles off my car anytime. Take the door handles off, you know what I mean? But they sort of, I'm glad they come off. You know, it'll be nicer when they go back on.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. It'll be nicer, like it.
Will it be hard to get them back on?
Yes.
It will be a little bit.
Yeah.
But the window, you can put the door handles on first, then the window can go in.
Yeah.
Jolene got me this morning, you know that? Oh oh, she dropped the old gut right in me. She walked out around the corner, Doug's windows are broke. And I just went, just like, what? Because I just put a motor back there, right?
Yes.
I didn't know if the motor had fell over. I didn't think it'd do it. I did. I went over around the corner and it was just like, oh, it was like a kick in the guts. My guts just dropped. But anyways, I walked around and she said, April Fools. You're lucky. But yeah, that was quite something else.
I used to work for a fellow
that would do that.
well, this April Fool was his Christmas. Darren Blumenthal was his name, and he's a character. And he played some awful pranks on us.
Are you, maybe I'll wait till tomorrow and you can tell me again that you're gonna weld the floor in that.
I'm gonna put the floor in your car.
He wouldn't care about things like that.
I said I got a few people I want to help out before I go back to work, and I want to do your floor in your car. I want to help John Wilson paint his gas or air station, and I want to help Bertie do his hood. And I'm
Back to doing your thing.
go back to doing my thing. And the only reason I'm doing it is because all you guys have helped me out.
Well, I certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I appreciate everything you've done for me, and same with you, Jim, and same with John, and I'm gonna just do it just like that. How's that, baby? You're gonna help me, right? And Jolene's gonna help me. Jolene's gonna help me put the floor in that car. She's gonna cut the metal as I put it in. And you're more than welcome to come over anytime you want to. You can sit and watch, you can help, you can do whatever you want. The only thing you can't do is tell me how to do it.
Oh, no, I've learned some of my ways aren't necessarily the best.
Well, I know some of mine aren't either, but once I get into it, I'm just gonna go for it, right?
You know, I can complicate things pretty bad. Like as I said, I need to build a little metal bracket to bolt the blinkers in by the bumper bolts, and I'm looking in the junk pile for metal already bent that shape when I could have had it bent in the vise in no time.
So how will you make it when it comes time? Will you make that little bracket out of a piece of cardboard and then trace it onto a piece of metal?
Actually, it's not even that complicated.
Okay. You're just looking for that piece.
Yeah.
You're just looking for that piece.
Yeah, if I can almost close my eyes and definitely turn off my brain. And if I just leave my hands do the thing, I can do almost anything. But when my eyes tell my brain to start thinking, that's when my problems start.
I understand.
Like my hands, like part of the reason, like on the Hudson and mostly on this Ferrari in my sanding, it's kind of good in a way that the paint job turned out a little bit orange peely, because I'm noticing that now that's starting to dry a little tiny bit, I'm noticing the odd spot where I didn't have it nice, and I can see the odd little ripple. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, there's like where the snaps are, where the roof is, there's little ripples going down from the strain of people pulling the roof boot off. Well,
What you're saying is you got more time to pick at it.
Well, I can see where, due to poor eyesight, I missed a lot. Because I go by feel, and the eyesight and the lights, I have troubles actually seeing. Like if I had a sliver in my hands, my glasses aren't good enough to see it. So
well, just cut back as far as the first knuckle. Right? That's like when I get an ingrown hair, I just beat it with a hammer and bite it off on the backside. Tough as nails.
But I'm not actually making any excuses. I'm kind of justifying the easy atmosphere of not making it perfect.
Oh, it's so much nicer.
You know, the perfect thing kind of puts you as a slave, and if you can do it the fun way where it's not perfect, then you're free to enjoy yourself. But if you try to do it perfect, you're there like.
The stress is.
Where do you stop?
Is way up.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like how far are you going to push this?
Like I could prime that car again and block it again.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any necessary need.
Well, you're
But
using the
could.
right kind of primer that dries. You don't have to worry about it shrinking,
Yeah.
and that will be the paint job success right there. Cause if it shrinks, like if you use wrong primer,
I just heard a car, didn't I?
cause you don't have it 90 degrees in here.
What'd you say?
I thought I heard a car door.
So you've
Might be
had
Lindsay.
this for a while, this car?
Well, 2 years.
Okay.
Bernie and I came on that as a project. A gentleman who was a professor at Dell, is retired now, that was his wife's car. And they bought it in 1985, and they put it in a shop and had all the underneath done, and complete car strip and sandblasted, and took the windows out. And everything out.
So, yeah.
So she drove it 2 years, and either the mother or the mother-in-law came to live with them. So now there were 6 of them, a family of 6, and 5 seats. So they parked that in the back of the garage for 38 years and never turned a wheel. That didn't take the gas out of it. There was that much tar in the bottom of the
It's
tank.
amazing you.
Didn't I have fun cleaning that out?
Hello.
The engine was so solid. I had to beat the last piston out with I had 3.5 inch heavy wall pipe. That's how I got it out. Beat it out.
Stop it. Good job, though. Good job.
Lindsay.
Yes.
We started with a $450 car, and then it went for a good 25.
We got car people here today.
Still coming.
Is that a Chevy box?
Ford.
Those were fenders.
Ford.
But the frame's like 46 and later.
Ford. It's all 46 Ford, I think. 47 Ford.
I didn't think the rear fenders looked like that on a
Doug, this
46.
is Lindsay.
Hi, Doug.
This
How
is
you
Doug.
doing?
Jim, this is Lindsay. Lindsay, this is
Hi.
Hey, Jim.
Jim. Jim's a Ferrari guy. Doug's a Jaguar guy, and Lindsay's a Ford guy. He's
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of,
yeah. The gas tank is uncovered now. All I ask is don't rub your hands on it. That's all. I'm getting closer.
I can slap
It could be a good trek if you had oil, and you know. But I'm getting closer, so.
Yeah, what you need is a bucket of primer dust for people to stick their hand in. And then
Then they can touch it. Yeah. Did you come up to look at some 36 Ford stuff?
Why not? I brought up some speed parts for you.
All right. How you like my
Well,
Oldsmobile Chev?
yeah, I like it.
Buddy said on the internet if I painted it blue, it could be a Ford.
You'd have to put it backwards. The distributor was at the
Yeah, I
front.
suppose. But that's more or less what I want. I just wanted it for. I bought the faux covers, right? And I want it to look like an Oldsmobile engine. I don't have the real thing, but I got the Oldsmobile lights on it, got the Oldsmobile dash in it. I might as well make believe I got an Oldsmobile engine in it, you know?
I like your license plate bumper.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That gas tank that you're looking for, if you look at the window, there's a gas tank right there.
Snow's gone.
Snow's gone, but that gas tank's in nice shape. I just looked at it. It's like brand new.
What's this, a 3-speed or
4-speed. Well, I thought it was a 3-speed, but it's a 4-speed because one of the shifters was hanging, one of the levers was hanging underneath of it.
Yeah.
And from what I found out this morning, Doug has been playing with it and jamming on it. He can't get her in reverse. So we might have to take it apart on the
All
side.
you gotta do
Yeah.
is, your shifter forks are in here, just pop the cover off, see what's going on.
Yeah. We're not going that far. The paint makes it look too good.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to work on it either, right? I'm not doing anything with it. I just did it for a visual. I just wanted to see what the engine would look like green, and I wanted to see the transmission paint. And I
On
went
the
for it.
Saginaws, you count the number of rings here on the spline.
Yeah.
You either had 1, 2, or 3. And it tells you your ratio, first gear ratio, I think, or the overall gear ratio on them.
Do you know what that transmission is? I don't know what it is yet. I know it's a 4-speed. Is it
I
a-
don't know enough on
Yeah.
it, but I just remember I was looking around at 4-speed Saginaws one time.
Isn't there like a month? There's a Muncie 21 and a Muncie 22
Yeah, the rock
and
crusher or
a
whatever,
Saginaw, and one of them's worth big money, is there not?
Yeah.
Like a couple of them.
Probably the rock
Muncie's?
crusher, yeah.
You probably won't come across one of them that you.
I didn't think I'd come across that either for $100, but I did. It's got a newer bow housing on it, see, because it's got a place for a, what's the thing that pushes it in there? The slave cylinder? It's got a place for the slave,
Oh, okay,
slave
that's
cylinder
right,
right
it's
there.
okay.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Hydraulic, yeah.
yeah, hydraulic slave cylinder, right?
Jordan knows these things inside there.
Yeah, probably.
I just remember him telling me what the number of grooves on the spline, right?
Well, I've got a couple of them now, but that one there come with the engine, so I'm just gonna stick them together and call it my drivetrain for my car. You know what I mean?
Came with that one?
Yeah, I got that engine,
Okay.
that transmission. He gave me the engine for 300 and the transmission for 100, so I got $400 in the drivetrain.
But they never lived together.
No, that was sitting on the ground over by the garage. That there come out of his Jeep.
Yeah, that's got a flex plate on it.
Yeah, good call. That's called investigation.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that engine there, he probably used that one quite hard. And if he says it's still good, it must be a good engine. Especially if it's in a four-wheel drive Jeep, you're raunching on it, right?
Yeah.
So, and the headers were on it. The manifold was on it. The manifold, I thought it was an original. I thought they bought a 4-barrel to put on it, but he just ground the holes out and made the intake work on the new throttle body shed because they got a different hole right here.
Yeah, okay. And you'll still seal, will you?
Yeah, it did. Like he said, it ran good. So there's a different, like it goes down straight on this part right here.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll just grind that off.
Yeah, we talked about that. I was telling you that I thought there was a little difference on the intake, but I couldn't remember exactly what it
So
was.
yeah, and originally I thought the intake was going to be original, but it wasn't. But in all natural fact, it tells me that I can do that with this one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just a cast iron intake too, right?
You're not gonna paint the aluminum intake I got out of the van, eh?
I don't think so.
You better not. That's,
You better not, he says.
What is it?
Bring it in,
It's an
show it
early
to us.
Eldebrock from the early '60s, right?
Yeah.
And I think I've read up on them that was like kind of a Corvette copy. You know, they modified it to make it even a little bit better, right? It was like a Vic Eldebrock design or whatever. It would have been 283s, 327s would have used it.
Yeah.
And I had one on that old Pontiac, right? On that engine that was in that, and they're just a nice workable intake.
Yeah, the main thing I want is the oil spout to come out the front
Yeah.
to make it look period, if you know what
Well, I
I'm saying.
got a steel one too at the house. That's on 283.
Well, that's what that is, right there, steel one. I just set it on there.
Cool.
I guess this is the thing that makes it look like you can't put oil in the engine unless you have this with the valve pan cover, right?
You know,
See, then you would think it was
a
all
lot of
right.
the early cast iron ones that when they
Yeah.
switched away, late '60s or whatever. Oh, you got the oil and fill.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll see a blank boss there. You'll see on even aluminum intakes a blank boss there where they could easily be drilled out. And put in.
I was going to do that
Kind
with
of like
that,
a
that
frost
aluminum
pump or-
intake. And I
Yeah.
said, why would I do that when I can do the exact same they did? They didn't put it in and had the hole.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that one's a little bit too new probably for it, but you probably figured some way of drilling one like that.
I could have. I was going to just drill a hole right here.
Yeah, you got it from there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all I was
there's
gonna do.
actually.
That's all I was going to do, but I don't have to, so I'm not going to.
Even the old cast ones, there was like a spot there where you could see the casting, you could probably drill it. Cool.
But you're just gonna dress up a couple engines. I got a couple engines in there. They're just cheap engines, but
You can never have so many engines.
I got a 4-barrel, dual 4-barrel for, dome aluminum for a small block shed.
do
Really?
you?
Do a 4-barrel.
Aluminum.
Like
It's
a
not an
tunnel-
Eldebrock.
Like a tunnel ram thing?
Well, I don't know. It has 2 4-barrels on it, and it's aluminum, and it goes on.
Man, I gotta
a
look through your
small
stuff
block
better.
shed.
Is it a GM one or is it like
I
a?
don't know.
287, you said that's.
I didn't see any identification. I think it's. I don't know for a fact, but
But
I-
if you don't see Holly or nothing like that
No.
written on, there's a good chance it's a GM
it
one.
doesn't have Hawley or Eldebrock written on it, and it is aluminum, and it's like it's. I bought it from Scott Gillis years ago, but anyway, it's sitting in my house. It was on my kitchen table, but I took it off.
That's
It's
probably off a Corvette of,
Yeah, well,
it has 2 4-barrels on it.
57, 58.
Which way would that go? Would it go in line or?
Slightly crooked, and one has set up for a choke, and the other one, the choke is taken off.
Wow.
But
Oh,
it's
wow.
2 4-barrels.
Yeah.
But
No wonder I didn't see it. It's in his house.
yeah, it's a
Good
nice.
deal on that, eh?
But I was told it's for a small block shed.
Yeah. Too much carburation real quick.
Well, you have to have the right can, the
Oh,
right
yeah.
gas, and be
It's-
driving it the right way.
I remember growing up, the guys would get the biggest carburetor they could buy and slap it on their stock motor. The car
Oh,
ran like
no,
shit
it's-
after that. Or the
same
biggest
as-
cam they could buy and put it in. And,
Same as the high performance motorcycles in the 70s. you had to do some more work to the things.
Yeah.
If you wanted to reject the carbs and stuff, like the pipe could only go so far. You had to change your cam and valves and before you could do your carb. Like you couldn't just hop them up. You had to go all the way.
Yeah.
There's kind of a code you have to go by.
I'm a big believer in like 650 CFM carbs for small block Chev for anything you want to do. I mean, you're not going racing, you're not going 100% of the power. You want something that drives nice and starts and decent fuel mileage. A good 650 Eldebrock or something works like a charm, right?
I know.
And
Yeah.
versatile, like you can drive easy or hard.
Yeah.
Like it works with you.
Yeah.
Like some of this stuff, boy, you gotta be like wide open.
Yeah, exactly.
Wide open or idle.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all they got.
Yeah.
My old 41 Chev, I hooked that up a little bit when I was a kid, and it had dual carbs on it. I put an aluminum intake with dual carbs, and I took the exhaust manifolds and I cut them in two and blanked them with light pipes coming out.
You know, Doug customizing way back in the day, now
See-
40 some shit.
Yeah, and then
41.
like
Holy shit.
the laws started catching up to people like that after a while, and that's where we got all these rolls now. But back years ago, I think you could probably get away with that. No muffler or anything you wanted. But
And you probably did see wide open on the throttle on that one.
No, it'd go up to 85 real quick, 85 mile an hour, and then it would sit there and bark because the vacuum advance wouldn't advance it any further on the
Yeah.
distributor. It was a fun car. I had a lot of fun with it. Vacuum shift on it. The shift was only that far, 3 in the tree, so you can have
Oh, couldn't I grind the
it
gears
up
on
and shift
that?
through the gear, through the wheel. Pardon?
So wouldn't I grind the gears on that? I can do
It
that.
had 33,000 miles on when I bought it. An old lady had, I just discovered girls, I was 17, and this girlfriend was 3-4 miles out of town, so I'm walking home. It's a long walk out there and back, so here I'm walking home, and I come up the main street in Aurelia, McIntyre Motors, and here was this 41 Chef sitting there with $175 in the front, so I walked in the door, wrote him a check, and drove it home. No license, no insurance, bugger all. That was my first car.
You had $141 on you, did you?
I had about, at that time, probably about $1,700 in the bank. I was the cheapest little buggy you ever saw. I worked the whole summer at a service station. I made $25 a week, and they took 28 cents out UIC, so I got $24.72. I spent the 72 cents. I banked the $24 all summer.
Spent the 72 cents.
That's how cheap I was.
Wow.
What would you get for 72 cents?
But then I discovered girls, and I went through the whole lot in a year.
Just like shit through a tin horn.
several
eh?
marriages, or you were lucky that way?
No. I'm 17. I buy a car and discovered a girl and think the world's wonderful and grades go all to hell and
Grades
the bank account goes zip.
Yeah, it's funny, my first car at 16 was a 66 Chevy Impala, 4-door hardtop, and $100.
You were up in smoke.
And it worked like a top, right?
Yeah.
But it had like 99,000 miles on it. Everyone thought that was like so worn out and everything, eh, which it kind of was, right?
99,000 miles. Just
Yeah.
flipped over to 100.
Yeah.
160 kilometers.
Yeah, once they hit 100,000 miles, people like stayed away from cars.
But most of the time, there was nothing left of them
No,
by the time they hit 100,000 miles.
and it's funny, that was a 10-year-old car when I got it. There was no other ones like that on the road. There wasn't 10-year-old cars driving around in the 70s. They were gone.
No, the muscle cars in the 70s didn't last 3 years.
Nope.
Rusted.
All the ones
Just
in the late 60s
dissolved.
were gone by the 75, right?
Yeah.
The Camaros and the Mustangs.
We're
And,
gone by 75?
yeah, like
Yeah,
it's prior to
not
70.
even paid for yet. Already in the junkyard.
You could buy
Absolutely
them
no
brand new
car.
for $2,800 back in the day.
Yeah.
It was when they were recycling the metal and they didn't separate the metals and the metal couldn't handle it.
You have to watch your head on
It was
that.
mixed metal.
Well, and the guys that bought them had a full-time job, and a wife and a
What's
baby
your
or
name?
whatever. It was the only driver they had. They put ply windows on the back and
Drove
drove
the
it a
time they wanted
396
to come
Camaro
here.
all winter, right?
Well, they're probably only making 7,000 or 8,000 a year at that time.
I'm going to get a beer, so here. Have a seat. You want one?
Yeah, sure.
Did you want a beer, Lindsay?
No, I had a
What's your
coffee to
name?
go,
You
but I
got
sat
off that
down.
thing?
Oh, it's right there.
Why don't you hit me, get it on that?
They're gonna have too many
Thank you.
vehicles to drive.
I've got too many already.
My dad had a Granada 6-cylinder, and he'd go in the morning and start that, and it'd be like, start, and that little 283 worn out that Impala, you barely touch the key and it'd fire up. And just,
That was a great engine, those 283s, you couldn't kill them.
no, impossible to blow them up once they're worn out.
Yeah.
We had one friend that had one in a 66 Beaumont, and we used to have to tow start it. They did it going. It was an automatic, and those old power lines had a pump at the front and the back, and with a few automatics you could tow start. You get it going about 30 miles an hour, it would fire up and start, and then you were good after that.
Look, stored
The rest of the
upside
days
down.
You had enough compression so you'd fire.
Stored upside down.
Wow.
Nice. Boy, that's almost identical to that 30. That
That's
one
40.
I got, right?
40. 1940.
They didn't change those much. That's nice.
That's what I thought. It's quite nice.
Perfect. That'll fit.
You know what the sad part is? I had the metal spoke piece, and sad part.
You used it on something
I
else?
chopped it and used it up, and chopped it up.
Used it.
Did it get used on something?
It
Then
did.
That's okay.
On the 32, I used it.
I'll bring in this stuff in the van.
I've got more stuff up there too that need to bring in.
That would fit right in there. It would. Same pattern.
Probably
but-
work as good as
Might be off.
the Hudson.
Interchangeable.
Is that a sending unit?
Yes.
What?
Sending unit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Hudson. It's been a while. Seems to me it is.
See that?
Yeah, that's when I bought it. It was the first, when I was a kid, I saw one in Canning. I was only like 10 years old. And I remembered it. And then I, like in '07, I saw that and I phoned him and I bought it, $5,000 delivered. And a month later he showed up and the truck was in a lot worse shape than the actual picture. But I proceeded in fixing it, and then I met George, and he introduced me to some magazines, Hudson magazines, where there are Hudson trucks for sale at any given time all over North America at different prices in better shape than what I bought. But I bought the first one I ever saw, and it was for sale, so I was excited when I bought it. But
So that's what it looked like when it arrived to you?
that's there. That's in Ontario, but it was much worse shape than it looks, but I fixed it. Oh,
You bring a fan.
Yeah, there you go. Your dress-up kit.
That's perfect.
Christmas came early.
oh,
Have one of those.
yep,
Yep, he says.
yeah.
Yeah, food, everything.
I wonder if we talked years and years ago about a Jag engine.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I had an ad going. I was in the hunt for Jag suspension and Jag engine. I wanted to put it like in an old truck, like an old Ford truck. I had a conversation.
Yeah,
Was that you?
probably Bernie Smith.
Okay. Dartmouth, I think he was maybe.
He was that, 30 years ago.
Good.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago or something.
10 years ago, he was in Purcell's Cove.
Okay. I told Chad there, the suspension like on an XJ6 up to 86. The front and rear suspension, there's a bunch of 50s cars and early Ford trucks, early 60s, late 50s.
Yep.
That frame's just about the right width and
Yep.
slide right in, use the rubber mounts and everything.
Yeah.
And there was a guy down in South Carolina that I think wrote a 56 Buick Special.
Yep.
And he put a great big 401 nailhead engine in it. And he talked about like chasing down Corvettes in the mountains or whatever on the corners and everything, right?
Yeah.
Well, and the weight wise was within 100 pounds
Yeah.
between the two cars, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and they say if you use the rubber mounts and everything, you get all the benefits of the suspension as opposed to
Yes.
just mounting it in rigidly.
Yeah. Well, it's a breeze.
So is it stuff I read said there's the when you corner a Jaguar hard, the older Jaguars, because they're on the rubber mounts, they actually twist and help you around the corners. Like they flex enough
It's like spokes in a
They do
motorcycle.
flex, they're
They
completely
flex and they give you the
completely
read of the road.
independence from.
I heard you
Yeah,
say
yeah,
that
yeah.
before.
And the
You
brakes
have
are
to be
inboard.
going something fast.
Yeah,
and
you
got,
can
trailing
read the road
arms,
from the flex of the
that
spokes.
hold
And that's how you
Place
can
them in the forward
throttle
routes.
on
Yeah.
and off
That's
so
it.
that you don't
So
spin
it's,
out.
it's easy to put. in
I'll
the
make
car.
sure I remember
Yeah.
that when I'm
Easy to
not
take,
driving
easy to
the
put in. I've
motorcycle.
been
But
trying to talk Chad
the
into
newer
taking-
bikes with the mag
Bernie's
wheels, like
got,
solid
car
wheels,
that we're gonna bring down here.
you
Yeah.
gotta,
And
you gotta
Chad
use
was
your
a little reluctant
scruples
to
a
use
little,
their rear end. I
little
said,
more.
"Jesus,
Okay.
Like, there's no warning,
Easy
you've gotta
explosive.
kind of,
Yeah.
learn your
Well,
stuff
back
a
in the day, all the hot
little
rods
more
had
refined.
jag rears.
Yeah.
But I guess you might
That was
think
in all the car magazines.
the flexing of the spokes
Yeah, I rebuilt
is
that one.
refined, but it really isn't, because all you gotta do is, like the old 900,
Part of
you
it's
push it in
66,
corners,
part
if
of
you
it's
reinforce the swing
Okay.
arms, the frame a
Most of
little
them
bit, so it
68.
holds together a little better.
67.
And
67?
you go into a hard corner, hit some bumps,
Is
you
that
can feel the
actually
flex of the
No,
spokes.
it's
And that rides you through the corner.
420G.
Okay.
When you drive a Ninja,
It's-
that doesn't
it's
have those
much bigger than
spokes,
that case.
and you don't get
Okay.
that
That's the biggest jag they ever made.
at all.
Right, right.
It's rock solid, the
When I was a
spins,
kid, my older brother
like
had
it's rigidity,
10, I
you
think.
know, it's
Yeah.
more,
That's,
Great
that's,
big wheel.
it's
yeah,
harder to
that's one
judge.
option.
I can see that with spokes.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I can
yeah.
see that. I'm gonna have the collection of all the Chevy valve pan covers around, aren't I, baby?
Yeah,
A 4.2 liter.
Huh?
yeah.
They work nice.
See, that turns,
And-
that
and-
turns my crank, see?
And they
That's
have
another
the
engine dress I
steering
can't
ratio
see.
of a Mercedes, not a Jag.
I probably won't go these two valve pan covers.
The XJ is such a fit for
I'll
everything.
probably do these two.
Turn around, really wide,
Actually-
turn on a dime, just like my Mercedes.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Yeah, I've got, well, a couple Mercedes and a Sprinter van, and I think the wheels turn sideways on,
Yeah.
and I got a 1993
Those would be too new for that.
Japanese import,
Yeah.
the same thing, it's so easy to drive, to turn.
That would be too new for that, wouldn't it?
It's 68
It's got an old spoke there, an
78
old spoke
450
there.
SL.
Needs one with
Oh,
no
that-
old spoke, doesn't it?
78 450 SL.
You don't need it,
Roadster.
but they'll still
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
but What I'm saying
And I
is,
have an 83,
if you have this in the front with an oil filter, you
Yeah,
might have
but
one with
you,
no.
you can find some
Okay,
excuse of something
No miles.
to put that.
it sees the
I could
long
put-
roof,
You know,
the long body?
But it's got
yeah,
element
it's a
rock.
long body.
Element
Yeah.
Oh, the engine fell apart.
I belonged to a doctor and they only put 120.
well, people keep saying there's no rolls, so I guess you're allowed to do anything you want. You can have two filler, oil filler spots if you want.
I can, but that's the valve pan cover. I would look for a set of valve pan covers that have them grooves in it with no old spoke, you know what I mean? Go with that intake.
Yeah. You can put grommet in the other side on that one, right?
Yeah.
Good. How are you?
Cool.
You're looking for something to eat, eh?
So what do you want to trade? Like, what do you want to come like? I
Oh, we'll figure out something to trade. Eventually there'll be enough stuff to get the 36 chassis over the front rear end. The, I forgot to bring up those Cadillac hubcaps I got. I think they're
Well,
57.
I just, as long as you're happy and I'm happy, like it doesn't really much
We'll
matter.
figure it out.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna do anything with the 36 bodies you have there. I might have an idea. I have an idea that I wanna do it's just what I'm thinking. I'm gonna run the dooryard, the next build we're doing, I'm just gonna make something, but I'm thinking about taking the 36 Ford, cutting the roof off the Mercury out there, and planting the 36 Ford on
Yeah.
top of it and making a cab over.
Oh, yeah.
See what happens. That's just a thought in my brain. I got two of them out there, or pieces of them. The Merc's out there, it's never been finished, so good way to finish is cut the roof off and put something on top of it.
Well, I've got all those somewhat truck parts I've been rounding up, right? I wanna do one truck. I got enough chassis parts to build.
I got a
four
box
chassis.
out there. And fenders.
Yeah. I've got a good set of 36 sedan fenders, Ford sedan fenders I was going to use for the box. I mean, they're like
Yeah.
excellent.
Do they bolt on the side or they bolt?
Underneath the lip,
Okay.
you'd have to like tack them on, like with some brackets, and then to make the sheet metal to go over to fit the flush of the box, because they would fit, the curve of the body.
That box up there, I don't think it won't. It's not that bad, actually. I looked at it, and that's why I kept it, because it's just the bottom piece that has to be fixed, like the
Yeah.
bottom. No lines have to be made, no round spokes have to be made, no headboard has to be made.
I wonder, the box has got a little bit wider by then, I think. I'm looking like more like a 38 box. I don't know, I think those ones were the ones with the square tubing at the top of the rail, as opposed to round.
This one's got round on it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And they got a tiny bit wider, a tiny bit longer as they went.
For sure.
But that can be all shortened, right, easy enough.
Yeah.
You know, taking 2 inches out of the middle of the boxes is a pretty simple thing.
I would just take it off the end. Well, then again, you got your post there, I guess, you got your.
Yeah. Well, some people will unstitch all that. Well, it depends on the body lines, right?
Hmm.
And how you do it, but might be you just build one from scratch, right?
Then you have to buy one. 2 sheets of metal.
Yeah.
There's $200.
Yeah.
And then you're into probably $500-600 just for the sheet metal and the material.
Yeah.
That there is pretty well.
It'll match the cabs better.
It would.
I got that. I think it's a 50
Now.
Mercury box. No
Get on
tailgate.
now.
Oh, my gracious.
First one I've seen this year.
What did you just get?
Dandelion.
I haven't got dandelions here.
If you like dandelions, you come visit me.
Oh, I
go
like
out there every
dandelions. I don't
morning
mow my lawn if I got
with a
dandelions.
digger. Yeah.
I don't mow the lawn if I get dandelions.
Yeah, first one of the year.
Dandelion greens coming up soon.
No, I get every damn one out of my lawn, and I got 1.5 acres of lawn.
I find you mow them off a couple times and they seem to be going after a bit.
No.
No.
Oh my lord, I don't mow them at all. I postpone my mowing until they die and then I mow.
I postpone my mowing.
I go around every morning with the digger.
Do you?
Yeah.
Like one of those things and pull them out?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you don't have enough to do.
After about 3 weeks, they're all.
Yeah, I don't rate mowing very highly in my.
I enjoy it, so I make sure I do it when I really want to. No other time.
Yeah.
At least 3 times a year.
I'm letting the woods grow in slowly.
But I enjoy it. When I do mow, I really enjoy it. But I only do it once in a while.
Yeah, my father used to say a weed in one part of the world is a flower somewhere else, right?
Yeah.
I'm taking the rest of it off.
No.
Nah, I shouldn't say that. I'd probably throw some tape on and tape that line off. But we're getting close now to painting that. It's a good thing, we're getting close.
What's it going black on top?
Black on top. Yep. Doug saved the hardest job for me for last.
Yeah.
He wanted to see how good I was. Here, I got paint on.
Are you going like with a factory color?
Like black.
Black?
Yeah.
Well, you could get that silver and that black
Yeah.
factory in the North America. The domestic ones weren't, but they only sold 2,800 of that.
Yeah.
I seen one actually customized
Yeah.
with the roof chopped, skirts on it, no door handles, beautiful car.
Yeah, and I saw a picture of a convertible. That'd be something scary.
Just like 10 feet, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I'm pulling this thing out of the way. 'Cause-
Woodwork's all done.
I'm good, don't worry about that.
Well, no, I'm pulling it out of the way because someone's going to get a bat in the head.
Don't knock my coffee over.
Okay.
The woodwork's all done. Upholstery isn't.
The woodwork's is beautiful.
I've got a upholstery.
What's that, pearl walnut? Is that what they use?
It's not pearl walnut, it's pearl something or other. Our Asian-
Rosewood or something?
No, our Parisian elm, is that what?
You'll have to ask Jeff, he knows all the names.
Yeah. I don't know, Jeff,
It's new wood or refinished?
Oh, refinished.
Yeah.
It wasn't in bad shape to start with, but it had every bit of, there's a shipload of wood on it, to include the tables in the back.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have 2, you can have 3.
So he stripped her off. He didn't have to re-veneer it. It just,
That's bring pizza.
it needed to be stripped.
Works.
Cool.
Did you that?
Yep.
Bring pizza. From where?
From, what's his name, not fast, what's his name?
No, not fast and loud.
No. You got me now. Pronto Pizza in,
Toronto pizza.
yes, in Wolfville. And we all enjoyed it.
We did. We all enjoyed it. Pronto pizza.
Fina here would like the piece, but we didn't give her one yet.
Well, she'd eat it if you give it to her. That's for
Still
sure.
left out.
I was eyeballing the noodle guy when I came through Fort Williams, thinking that might be a nice supper.
Yeah,
Where's
that's
that?
good.
And Port Williams,
Yes.
as soon as you cross the bridge on the right, the first building,
We're getting some
right on the
things done
corner,
here,
it's the
slowly up.
noodle guy.
Noodle man, okay.
So
He's
probably,
like,
it'll probably
yeah,
be,
class with his noodles.
probably be
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
a couple weeks and I'll want your car.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a real chef that owns that
Go
place.
for it.
Okay.
We'll make a video of it and fix the floor. And you know, a lot of the reason I want to fix it, because it's right at the right place. A lot of people would throw that away, and I think that it would be good to make a couple videos on how to fix it.
Those are
Well,
polish up nice.
I'd like to just drive
Okay.
around the yard and have it run and saw it, but I don't have any intentions on crash up derby or anything like that.
No, you can do what you want with it, but
You know,
I want to put floor in it, just for. I think it'd be a good.
you know, cause I'd like to put the windshield and put the motor in and get it running. I've put, engine store oil in the cylinders of the motor
Yeah.
and cranked it over a few times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, cause it's been sitting for at least 4 years now.
Yeah. Lindsay, if you go outside that door,
I'll say 36 Ford.
no, there's some stuff over there right on the corner that's laying there. There's some
I'll take a look at some buyers.
sun visors there. They probably should go with you because they're just sitting there.
Smells my cat.
There's a few other things that might want to go with you too. I think I'm not sure.
Ford
You have to
Sunrise?
check it out.
36?
They're 40 probably, but they're right there on the corner if you want to take a look at them. They're just sitting there on the thing. You can go that way if you want.
Not a
But there's-
Hudson Sunrise by any chance?
What? A Hudson Sun visor?
Yes.
I just sold that yesterday.
George had put some sun visor.
He's got it on his truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean this on the outside?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Watch yourself on that, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Watch yourself on that. But this car here is a pretty good looker, isn't it? She's a good looker. She's a gangster dog.
Mm.
Yeah.
The Merco front looks nice too.
I'm gonna throw
I
that
know.
36 Ford on top of it.
I kinda like it the way it is, but that's okay. My opinion is
That's not it.
That's gonna
not
fit
your
under the hood,
priority.
isn't it?
What's that now?
That's gonna fit under the hood?
Listen, the engine's so far down inside that car, I think it's gonna bring it up to the top of the hood, but
Okay.
it's not going to. You ever seen this before? You ever see the carburetor? See how it looks like it's not. I didn't clean it up real good. You see how it looks like it's new? It's got the Anodox look on it.
Yeah.
Do you know how to do that? If you have a part that looks like that, you ever see the parts that look like that? They're like
They put them in a barrel and they,
that's how you do that.
Boy, that MGA frame looks pretty good.
That's how you do that. Paint it silver first, and then use a zinc chromate and just kind of flake over top of it easy. You want something Anodox, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
See how the carburetor looks like it's new?
Oh, yeah.
Silver paint,
Yeah.
and then just go this
Cool.
over top of it lightly, and it makes it look like it's a new piece. See that, Jim?
I've got a glass beater that do that too.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that. That takes time. Just go, if you know what I'm saying. I just sprayed it this color. If you want something Anodoxed, see how the carburetor looks like it's Anodoxed? Spray it silver,
I've had old.
and then mix that over top of it, and it makes it look like it's
Yep.
just a trick I do. And it's no big trick. I didn't clean it up heavy or anything. I just spray lined it.
Well, in my kitchen in the house years ago, I painted the ceiling brick color, red brick color. And it looked so good with just one coat with the lines of dark and light that I put the lid on the can, never put 2 or 3 coats on her or whatever, and it looks good. But the same idea, like
Yeah.
it gave texture, kind of. Yeah, the dash in that car is something else, isn't it?
Yeah, the same guy did it that's doing the wood for the Bugatti. Jeff.
I should take those home and glass bead those for them. I've got a glass beater.
Oh,
If they do carburetors nice, it should do
yeah,
those quite nice.
it does nice job on
Yeah.
aluminum,
Yeah.
yes.
That's nice vintage stuff.
Well, it is. That's why I got the 44, and that's why I kind of.
Oh, that's where that came from.
Viper.
Oh, vacuum ones, eh? short guy's one.
Take it. It's in your
Altogether.
little bag of goodies. See, there's stuff here that's supposed to be here, but I'm not quite sure. There's stuff that's not supposed to be there, but there might be the window treatment might be part of your, might be 40.
Well, see, I've got that.
I don't know what that is, but
I've got that 30. I got that 38 out front.
yep.
Yeah, see, they would have been off one motor going back and forth. Look at that. Look at the chain they got there to run it.
I
right?
see that. Hood hinges here. Might need the hood hinges. I'm not sure, but
That's an electric one.
yeah, I don't know. Whatever you, if anything you want there, you just take it. You know what I mean? You just take it. Take it.
Oh.
See the motor mounts I was talking about, sweetheart, on the 350? See these, Lindsay? You ever see these before? You can bolt that to a 350. This thing here, this mount here, just in and out on that. Bolts there, just cut that off so I can adjust it in or out wherever I want, and then weld that to the inside of the chassis.
So I basically want to build one truck,
Yeah.
and I got enough parts for almost two trucks.
Yeah.
And I got that 38 body as well, right? So I just want to like make a mismatch of parts that all work, right?
Okay. Well, I've got some.
And you know, I got the whole front clip. I think I'll use that 38 standard clip,
Yeah.
kind of like the one from the car, the giveaway car, right?
Whatever you want to go over and take a look at that stuff. You go ahead. See what's
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
The 40's over there. And I got some pieces in there, so I'll help you out in any way.
Did
I
you have
can.
the 40 dash? Did that come with the car?
He didn't want to give that to us, did he?
I can't
don't think.
remember.
You can go down there and take a look if you want.
Yeah. You know, and stuff like out front there, the steering box on that old Ford truck, all that stuff is valuable stuff, right? For traditional type builds,
Yeah.
right? Because that's a bolt on to the
I was
old
looking.
cars.
I was looking at the front end already with the, you know, I mean, all that has to be doing is flipped ups on the top side. You know what I mean? It lowers it down.
Yeah.
We did that with the Dodge. Remember, we did the axle instead of putting on the underneath the springs, we put it on top of the springs.
Yeah.
Lowered it down quite a ways.
Yeah, and I got two more of that same axle, and they quite often took those and actually dropped them, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone local here can drop an axle.
You know how I would do it? Cut it.
Yeah.
And I weld it. That's how I do it. You're more than welcome to take a look around, Lindsay. A little bit of water. You gotta like it when someone's into hot rods. They want to look around and see their stuff. Lindsay wants one of these. Make sure he takes one.
I worked on, I did, like, I had a lot of problems, and it kind of destroyed me.
It kind of destroyed me.
It did, it destroyed me, and,
I'll put that in the...
you know, so good luck. I hope the best, like, but, like, it couldn't, same thing as the Ferrari. I am not really that mechanical, like, electrical problems or sensors and stuff.
I'm gonna take those home.
Yeah, he wants to
and-
glass
and-
blast them.
And blast them with the glass bead.
They look like brand new. Is that what you want to do, Doug?
Yeah. Okay?
Well, yeah, I guess it's okay if you want to.
Sure.
You got your glass beater all geared up?
Oh, yeah,
Oh, you got glass and everything?
absolutely.
Doug is not messing around. That would look nice, glass beater.
Yeah.
And I just like it because it's got the tube out the front. It gives me
Yeah.
the 60s look that I want. But you're more than welcome, Doug. You don't have to. I'm happy in hell with that. I'll have to pay Lindsay back. See, you're gonna need a gas tank. You're gonna need something, but we'll do some trading. Hard to believe it's just even to find an old fan.
Yeah, 4 graders.
Yeah, try to find an old fan.
Oh, I got a box of old fans home.
Like that?
Probably. Yeah, similar, although I don't, mine they wouldn't be Ford.
Oh, but we're gonna have to do some trading then, I guess, or
But
something.
I do have a bit of a selection of fans.
Cool. They're hard to find now. Like, I mean, if you're just going with the basic.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I'm so stuck back in the old engines that I have no idea what the new engines are. I've been so long in this great engine, I have no idea about the new engines. I have no idea. And this to me is a basic.
Yeah.
Basic.
Yeah.
That's what I'm used to. I'm used to
Yeah.
V-groove pulleys and
You're
fans.
not used to the 4-cylinder turbos out of Hondas.
I'm not
diesel.
like a V-groove, like you know, a
The
certain,
stuff.
certain time belt. I'm not interested in a certain time belt. They don't go on the old cars.
A lot of them today have the adjustable cams in them and you know.
Like laser.
They're complicated
Yeah.
as hell.
I find most of the time we're trying to make things from I don't know what to say, to complicate things, but it's generally easier than it should. Everything's already been figured out, we just try to complicate it so we can't figure it out
Yeah,
anymore.
it's already been invented.
It's ended.
Well,
But I enjoy the V group pulleys engines and all the older engines. I like looking at the older engines. Not into it.
I have Dad's old Chev truck had a small block 350. I have quite a selection of fans for different uses.
Do you
crush
have
fans?
Do you
and
have any
couple-
pulleys?
I'll look,
Okay.
but I
'Cause
know I
pulleys
saw
are hard.
quite a stack of fans over at
Yeah.
once in the shop.
Pulleys are hard to find, or for me, anyways. I know they're out there. It's just most people have pulled them off, thrown them away. Like I can't say I'm any better, but I've done the exact same thing.
Well, a lot of the stuff you're dealing with is 70s, right? You know, so
Right.
it's been around for 30, 40 years.
So it's had lots of time to be thrown away.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I like all the engines that I'm having, like the V groove pulleys. I like the older engines for some reason. That's why I'm even dressing that one up old, because that's what I like. Lindsay's out there having a time looking at the 36 Ford. Yeah. Hopefully we can do some trading, obviously. He brings us some goodies today. Look at that, would you? I was looking for Chevrolet valve pan covers, and boom, now I got 4 sets of them. Here they come. Some I'll put on the engines, and some I'll leave for different stuff, right?
Oh, are you, I don't wanna tell you what to do, but
Sure
make sure
can.
you glass blast inside the best you can too.
Sure.
Glass bead?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're,
Inside, like,
they're not bad.
well, no, I don't mean that, I mean the dome. In here.
Oh, yes,
Best
yes,
you
yes.
can,
Yeah,
that's more important than the outside,
yeah,
but
yeah, I understand. Yeah,
it's a good opportunity to try to clean it up
Yeah.
a little bit.
yeah, well, I'm no
But
expert.
it'll look-
I just
oh, it'll look
yeah,
like
that's-
brand
That's
new
my
when-
practice job.
Yeah, that'll-
Oh yeah, ruined my dome.
yeah.
Actually, you know what I used to, well, I just take them aside and sandblast them, but it just beats them up more. if you know what I'm saying.
It's almost, it roughens the surface. It makes it silver, but it's rough. But
Yes.
the glass, it almost polishes it.
Yeah.
It's almost like using buffing compound.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, the way Pat Conley did his domes up with the carburetors, you'd swear they were jewelry. With a
Like
glass
buffed
bead.
and polished.
Yeah, he would swear they
And
were
it was just
jewelry.
glass bead.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
he tells me.
And then after that, I probably would clear coat it. As soon as you touch it, it goes
Clear
through.
coat and heat don't go good together. Sometimes
You
it
think it'll
yellows.
peel?
It yellows. When it gets hot, it might yellow on it.
I don't think it's that hard to keep them clean and polished if you start out with a good base. You know,
Yeah.
Once you clean them up and get all the crud off it, and how hard is it to keep them clean after that?
Yep. Hard to believe. Stuff's getting hard to find. Even stock wheels are getting hard to find. Like stock wheels for a car, most people have taken the wheels off their car and thrown them away.
Yes.
And, yes, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And hubcaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what I like, is the hubcap, steel wheels, and that sort of stuff.
That's gonna be big when it's done.
But
What are you gonna do for upholstery in the interior?
we haven't thought that far ahead.
Plush velvet. Blue.
We're gonna
Like blue suede shoes kind of color. Like plush velvet.
You're talking about kind of licorice now. I'd love
That would be
to
nice,
crush
actually.
velvet interior in that thing.
Like $75 a yard.
It probably won't be bought. It's $75 a yard.
I gotta get home, guys.
What's that?
Does Fabricville have their sale?
You heading home, are you, Jen?
Yeah, I got family. I
You do what you gotta do,
visit
brother.
for,
Have a good one. Thanks
Yeah.
for coming
Good to
over.
see ya.
Oh, so probably a week or two. We'll
Yeah,
pull
well,
that thing
good,
over.
good,
That's
yes.
good to me. And
Yeah.
we'll go from there.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries. We haven't done yet. You can thank me when I'm done.
Thanks for the pieces and,
Oh, well, that's nothing.
yeah,
Just more or less interest,
yeah.
like, like this thing, like I said, it's hard to explain that, but that is
Yeah.
self-explanatory.
Okay,
But I wouldn't cut out the soldering job and put it in.
no, I don't intend to.
Yeah,
I'm not
'Cause
looking
that-
to make trouble for
like I
myself.
said, I think it was problematic and
Yeah.
I couldn't replace it, so
Yeah.
I just cut it out, I didn't put it back in.
Well, that was a neat piece of history.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have a good night.
See you, Jim.
too.
Later, Jim. We'll be talking.
Yeah.
Signing off.
Oh, I'm dog was outdoors.
What's that now? Dog outdoors.
Dog was outdoors.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Signing off. Car talk for the car people.